thank you for another day, a beautiful day that you have given us. We pray, Lord, you would be with us throughout our services as we conduct the city's business this evening, and grant us a safe passage afterwards, and all this we ask in your most holy name. Amen.
Pam Scarber,
Here.
Randall Blaylock,
Here.
Steve Williamson,
Here.
John Heflin,
Here.
Karen Crothers. Here. John Schaefer.
Here. I entertain a motion to approve the March 24th regular meeting minutes. I so moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Department heads, please do.
We had 319 calls for the month of March, 292 for April so far. We had 1,174 year-to-date calls for service. We had one call for a battery third domestic, one lost or stolen, one unintended death, and terroristic threats and possession of controlled substance. Had 5 motor vehicle crash reports this month so far. Had 1 investigation started. Had 72 citations from possible 45 from the Arkansas State Police. We served 71 warrants, had 2 affidavit warrants issued, 32 failure to appear warrants issued, and 97 failure to pay warrants issued. We had 16 hours of miscellaneous training and mandatory training for the year, approximately 100 hours so far. And I didn't have the court clerk income. She was out today. So we hired 3 officers to replace the 3 vacancies that we had. 2 are certified officers and 1 uncertified who will be leaving for the police academy on May 4th.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Fire chief.
it's not the city's responsibility to get these people out if they get stuck in there or locked in there overnight. He's not completely understanding, but he's kind of came around, and he's for sure been notified that if this continues to happen, we'll lock the gates and he could be charged criminally, or other fines could be imposed on him. So he's promised to leave the facility open until 11 o'clock so that people can get out. But if there is still problems, I really think the best thing the city to do would be to lock the gates, or I'm sorry, cut the gates.
Now, when you say 11 o'clock, is that he will allow them out at 11 and still close at 10?
Yes. Well,
So he's going to post it as closing at 10 and
That's
have
right.
access up to
They're
11.
still close at 10,
Yeah.
but they're able to get out till 11.
that's right.
At 11:01, it'll lock. They won't be able to activate the trigger to get out.
They can still get in up until 10 o'clock.
Also, I put two radio estimates. I mentioned it last meeting that I'd be bringing this to you for future consideration. It's just that we have I would call it a aging fleet of AWIN handheld radios that we keep on each apparatus that we can communicate with other agencies, especially Russellville, because we do so much mutual aid for them. And then they do auto aid for us also. Right now, I just need one, but my plan is, maybe one every 6 months or one every year, so we've got a good fleet of AWIN radios. I reached out for a third estimate, and it is a Motorola specific vendor. We were talking prices for the same radio to do the same thing, and it's about $4,500 for the same radio that you got the leaflets for here. So I didn't even ask them to send it to me. So I put that before you, and then also mentioned this year I would like to start replacing sets of the extrication / wildland personal protective equipment. The jumpsuits that we have, most of them are over 10 years old. A lot of them are in extremely poor condition. We've updated our structural turnout gear, which is, of course, the most expensive thing, but unfortunately, the extrication wildland suits is probably what we wear the most, which is good because it's a lot cheaper than, say, wear and tear on your structural firefighting gear. So, a set, boots, pants, coat, works out to about $1,300, but right now, this vendor, they have about 8 sets that someone ordered and never picked up, so they're willing to give them to us for about $1,000 a set on those. So the most expensive set would be $1,373.52, and that's something else that I would just probably take out of my assets budget and maybe start replacing 5, 6 sets at a time. The other thing that I would like to report is we've had 0 natural gas leaks caused by I know I was kind of complaining last meeting because we had so many. We've had 0 since the last meeting, which is a very good thing. I'll open up for any questions.
What do you want to do first, the gear or the radio?
I would probably prefer the gear because I don't, the brush rigs don't necessarily have to have an AWIN radio. Although probably remember what brought this up was a couple months ago. We was under the burn ban. We had about 6 incidents going on at the same time, and we ended up in Russellville with our tanker and our brush truck.
On the, what'd you say, 5 sets that they currently have at a discount?
Yeah, they got them for just a little over $1,000.
Are they sizes or that,
So they're certain sizes, but, he gave me the sizes that he has in stock, and we would have new ones.
okay.
The only problem with those are, you know, he's actively trying to sell them, so if I don't get back with it, they're probably gonna be gone.
Did you say it was 5 sets or 8?
So, I would like to
At the
start
1,000.
replacing 5 or 6 at a time.
Okay.
And right now, he has, I think, he had, at one time, he had 8 sets. I know he sold just 1 set, he may have sold 2. So,
So would one radio and 5 sets get you by for a pretty good while?
yes.
And then just make a plan on down the road for the rest of them and the rest of the radios?
Yeah, and it's just, you know, these things are what I'm gonna put on my capital assets list for
Okay.
a replacement plan. You know, to forecast what's gonna be needed in the next year, maybe 2 years and even 3 years out. That way we don't have to buy things, you know, we don't have to buy 15 sets of current year.
On the radios, they've got slightly different, like one's a 55430 and the other one's a 5400. Are they basically the same radio?
Yeah,
or-
they're P25 radios.
Okay, so the P25 is what I need to look for, okay. But one's $1,000 cheaper almost than the other, 800?
Correct.
Yeah.
Is it just difference in,
Well, one, you know, obviously one is a local vendor, and then the other is a statewide vendor that operates all over the state. They were the, you know, I knew I would need at least another bid, that you'd asked for. They were the only ones that I could get close to. Outside of going to Motorola, and I can't afford Motorola.
If we wanted to, what would it take to get the 5 sets and one radio?
I would say, by the time you add the gear actually includes the boots too, so you're probably looking around $8,000-9,000.
Okay.
That with the radio also?
Right, that's with that radio.
With which vendor?
Whichever one you guys, I mean, I would like to use local if I could, but.
I would too, but at the cost of $800, I can be bought. I won't say let's do it, but that's just my opinion on it.
do the 5 and the
And the one radio.
Aragold Communications radio?
Yeah.
We need a motion, is that?
I'll make a motion that we approve the 5 sets at $1,000 and a radio of your choosing,
Plus tax.
plus taxes. That's a subject now, isn't it?
Okay, got a motion, second?
Second.
We got a motion, second?
Pam Scarver,
Yes.
Randall Blaylock,
Yes.
Steve Williamson,
Yes.
John Heflin,
Yes.
Karen Crothers,
Yes.
John Schaefer.
Yes.
Anything else for me?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Public Works.
Last council meeting, so we voted to $65 shutoffs for non-payment, 8 of those remain off. 27 work orders that are various, those are attached to that. 108 locates. We repaired 1 main break on West Dash, 4 service lines, 2 on West Dash, 1 on River Road, 1 on Bentwood Court. Performed 3 water taps, 2 on Carter Road, 1 on Pisgah Road. We had a 5-year inspection done on the water tower. Replaced meter setter on Sweden Road. We repaired the lift pump at the city ball fields. Cleaned ditches out on Sweden Road and placed 3 culverts, gravelled the road to the wastewater plant. Patched the driveway on Bentwood Court due to one of the service leaks. Replaced 2 street signs. Fixed a washout on River Road, and we started mowing the city ditches.
Any questions?
On Bentwood, I went out there and I've had a phone call from some residents over there. When you say patched it, what is that? I understand what a patch is, but
It was in the,
I haven't looked at it since you possibly patched it.
Did you look at the driveway, or are you talking about the?
Yeah, the patch was in the
The
driveway.
patch was in the driveway.
Okay, I'm looking at the pond at the cul-de-sac.
Right, that has not been repaired.
All right.
Actually, we talked to, Owen Jones 2 weeks ago. I got a hold of him. He actually came out today and got the measurements to give us a quote.
All right, so we're gonna go forward with it?
Yes.
Because that's also a safety issue. That's a health issue.
Now, is this for just the end of the road, or is this?
The end of the road and right at the start of it. I know there's, I don't remember what he measured, like 100 and something foot at the start, and then the whole cul-de-sac.
So what's he going to do?
Overlay it.
Just overlay the whole
He'll
thing?
clean it up, get rid of the debris, he'll patch the big hole,
Mhm.
and then he'll overlay the whole cul-de-sac and that start of the road.
Are they
How
gonna,
about drainage on it? Looks like part of the problem is lack of drainage in that cul-de-sac.
No, if you'll crown the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, we talked about that, sloping it where it'll all run to that new box.
Yeah, we built the drain box.
You
I
did
don't know
put
if
a
you've
box
seen
in
it.
for drainage?
Yeah, there's a box that we built, and it's been there for a couple of years. It's just
At
the
least
roads.
2 years.
Well, right now it's not working, but,
Right, because the road settled so much, but if you'll crown it up to where the water will run that way, it'll go into that.
We
drain
talked
box.
about that today,
okay.
And
having all of the water run.
What kind of timeline we got on that?
Just whenever he gets us the quote, whenever he has time to get it done.
All right, 'cause I feel obligated.
His obligation on that there.
Yeah, because looking at it, it's
It is.
it's beyond
I think the hole
dilapidated.
was about 6 inches deep.
are they gonna fix what's
You
causing
caught
it?
it on a dry day.
Or are they just gonna patch it? Cause I know, like River
If we
Road,
can keep the water from getting underneath it, I think that'll help the problem.
Like, River Road, we patched holes on it right over the issue, and it's just doing the same thing again.
But,
So,
without digging up the whole road, there's not a whole lot.
well, I mean, at some point, we're spending more money fixing it if we're not fixing the issue we're just putting a Band-Aid over an issue.
When we know there's a failure, we'll dig it up and put more gravel.
That's what I'm asking. Are they gonna fix the failures or just patch over it?
We know it's a failure, we'll dig it
Yeah.
up. We've done that in the past.
So do we need to approve it at the next council meeting? Is that what we're waiting on, or just do it?
No, we don't have to. It's gonna be under the $20,000, so.
Any other questions?
That's also, there's 2 others, Blue Bonnet and Stagecoach,
Blue Bonnet,
but it's basically doing the same thing.
Is there any way to get these roads built in the future better?
the ground and what I gathered, the ground in Pottsville is just horrible everywhere.
Well, that's not an excuse.
Besides up on the roads, and whenever the roads were put in, they weren't, the banks wasn't built right.
All right, that's
Well,
a
if I can
valid
recollect,
explanation.
we've been fighting that one on, Blue Bonnet Road for some time, haven't we?
Whenever we redone that, we dug down 3 foot, put these stone and put that down.
You know, going forward, and it's been a topic, we need to have a long-term plan for all of our roads.
It'd be nice. If we had the budget, we could, do the whole road, but when you're talking $300,000 to do a little over a mile,
Yeah.
we
Well,
don't have that kind of.
something we need to talk about because it's,
I agree with that.
all right. So, rough timeline, 30 days, 60 days?
It'd be up to the contractor.
So we can have an idea in 30 days.
Should know something.
We should have an idea of what I would say within probably 10 days.
Would you mind letting me know about that? All right, appreciate it. Mike, you okay with that? What you got? You wanna come up?
I appreciate this, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Ward. I live on Bentwood Court. I've been there for 14 years with my family. Right now, the importance of this meeting is pretty big. I got a granddaughter right now that's a 9th grader for Pottsville, and she's just now qualified for 3 state events just soft dirt, mud, and it's, like I said, it's between 10 to 12 inches down there. What I can't see, is doing 2/3 of the work on a cul-de-sac with 10 houses on it. Why would you not repair the whole thing? Cause the whole thing needs to
Because
be
we don't have the
repaired.
budget for that whole thing.
Okay,
You do
well,
that whole thing, you're talking a good $50,000 to $75,000.
okay, well, you're gonna end up coming back and replacing.
We probably
it
will.
again.
So we can get a grant or something to help do these main roads like that. There's not a lot we can do.
I mean, all the patching is done is, it lasts for a little bit, and then it tears up, and all the rock ends up in my ditch, or my, gutter. That's where all the rock goes. I mean, it's just like driving on a gravel road right now. I've been asking for this multiple times. I know you and I have met twice, and haven't seen really anything taking place. There's a bunch of kids on this street, they can't even ride a skateboard out there. It's a cul-de-sac, that's what those things, it's.
There's a
great
lot of
for
roads
kids.
like that.
Yeah,
We got several roads, I
under-
can take you right now, that are a whole lot
I
worse.
understand that, I've been there for 14 years and really have seen nothing done. When I've been back in those areas, back off of Pisgah and stuff, and seen them repaved, kind of wonder about, I'll be honest with you, this stuff that you have out here wasn't even close to as bad as what our road is, but you got that all repaved.
Well, I'd argue with you on that one, 'cause that was pretty bad out here.
It's not as bad as our street. You can't even play basketball on our street because
Listen
of
to
the
this
rocks.
though, how much traffic is out here?
I understand that.
How much traffic is on your road?
A lot more than what you would think.
I understand that, but there's not near as much traffic as there are right here.
Totally
So
understand
I
that.
have to take my best judgment to what the need of the city is.
Okay,
Not just one
we
little
are part
section.
of the city.
I know you are, but so is everybody who drives up and down this road
Yes,
here.
yeah, I totally understand that.
I've got to pick and choose. I can't say, oh, we're gonna fix every road in town. We got a limited amount of budget. And I do the best I can.
Well, for 14 years I've been fighting for it, and I. would
You hadn't
like
been
to
talking to
see-
me for 14 years, I know.
No, I've talked to other people before you. Okay, I get the same answer. Now, this is a little bit of a step up, but once again, it's gonna be a patch. You're gonna have to do some civil work.
When we
out
talked,
there.
did I not tell you as soon as I was able to, I'd try to get something done?
Yeah, and how long ago was that?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Over a year.
I've talked to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm sure you do. It's been over a year. Okay, I just want what's best for the kids and the families on our road.
Well, I want the best for everybody in Spotsville, but I can only do so much.
Well, at the end of the day, it's our obligation to maintain the roads.
It is.
And
But I'm
if
the
we,
one that's got to pick and choose what roads gets done.
well, I think we ought to have a conversation about when it's time to pick and choose, a group effort on
No.
it.
That's the mayor's obligation to do that.
Okay, well,
That's part of the
I wanna
day-to-day
consider
operation.
this one the way it is
We
right
cannot
now, it's a
sit here
safety
and
issue.
Go, debate every little job that goes on.
Well, this one's a safety issue.
So there were other one.
Okay, well, we need to change our priorities.
I don't know what to do.
All right, well,
But we do the best we can.
that money
We
from,
got a limited
the
budget.
the money that we're putting toward the, grocery store down here would go a long way.
That's up to y'all. Y'all wanna take that out? That's totally up to y'all. Y'all agreed to all that. Every one of it. So if y'all wanna change it, that's up to y'all. When the
Okay.
budget comes out, and we start discussing the budget, y'all wanna change it, that's fine.
All right.
But right now, I'm limited to what the budget's got right now for this year.
All right.
Anything else?
I just hate to see you guys waste money. That's exactly what it'll be, unless it's totally replaced. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
far as the code enforcement world, once again, just establish a lot of internal systems to promote positive productivity so that I can better serve the citizens of our community here. I did conduct a full inspection a week and a half ago on the property at 81 East Second Street. I do have a notice of violation that I've typed for that in the back of the packet. I do have concerns of structural integrity. That one is one I believe that y'all discussed earlier in the year about talking about the rehabilitation agreement. And I've talked with Mr. Phillips. We've kind of been in discussion about that. I think that that's something, we didn't get it on the agenda for this month's meeting, but I would definitely like to have just kind of a discussion. And I emailed that out about a week and a half ago to everybody so that y'all can kind of be looking at it, ask me any questions. I did come from Russellville, so got a little bit of experience with condemnation process. We did adopt an ICC 2021 property maintenance and housing code. That process is a part of what I'm licensed in. At the point of condemning a property, essentially, I'm just bringing it to you guys saying that it is so far beyond repair that I believe that they need to have their certificate of occupancy removed, and we should either condemn the house, in which as the governing body you guys would decide, or for the part that I want to get into is the rehabilitation. If the property owner came to you all and pleaded their case, wanted to rehab it, it would basically, they would be back into contract with the city and would have to go through all the proper procedures and permitting to fix that property.
Governed by us.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir. And also, I would file a copy of that decision, whichever way it's made, with the district court through Judge Wood.
Looks like they've already started on it, or
They have
or
started.
attempted to start.
They've attempted to start. It is still beyond repair in my personal opinion.
Window grills.
Within an hour of inspection, I identified 21 different violations, and the main concern would be sanitation and structural integrity. I do believe that that house is something that we should proceed forward with, but pending next month with the rehab agreement and everything, how we want.
Have you already sent them a notice?
Yes, sir. It's in the back of this packet as well. And it's outlining everything, and I have references to every.
You got any reply from them?
I hand delivered it. They were told not to allow the tenants to move in, however, they still.
There's people living there now?
There's people living there. I've been in discussion with the owner, and I told him he's got to find a new place because there are children in there.
Do we need to have a special meeting outside of tonight to speed this up, or wait till another month?
I would recommend that we do that.
Cause
For the safety of these children and this family, I really recommend that we.
there's electrical issues on here, and I doubt if they
Yes.
have any type of fire alarms or anything, and that house is so old, it'll go in a,
All the smoke alarms are defective. There are several light switches that do not have the proper fixtures. Also, there is a lot of novice tube wiring all throughout the house that is poorly put together. Severe plumbing issues. He did hire a master plumber. I've not gotten into the crawl space since he's done that work. But I have some very, very deep concerns over the structural integrity of this home.
We have a
got
special
knowledge
meeting.
of it, yeah.
How long do you want it to be out?
I
1 week, 2 weeks?
I gave him 30 days, so May 16th will be my next inspection. And I did write him a notice that I would be before next city council for action, pending that the inspection doesn't pass on May 16th. At this point, I do not see that happening.
So he moved people in after you
16.
told him,
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
people in there now.
There are people in there.
What
With
can we do
construction
about
going on.
that? What can we do about that? Cause that concerns me.
But planning and zoning has a meeting next Monday night, and y'all wanna reconvene then and look at this ordinance?
Well, with your 30 days, the next business day would be the 19th of May.
But still, they were told that no one was supposed to live in it because of this, and there's still people in there.
Yeah.
So can we do anything before the 30 days because of that?
Right
I don't
now-
know.
That's civil law.
Right now, my main concern, I told them by tomorrow. I come by the home at 6:40 this morning and noticed that there were 2 vehicles there. I started on the 14th and I had a vacation plan, so I was gone all last week. I'm guessing from what I spoke with the tenants today, they moved in Friday evening after I left. And Mr. Frankhouse knows me very well because I've dealt with him for the last year and a half at Russellville. And he totally disregarded the order that was given to him, and he has avoided me all day today. And then when I did talk to him, it was a little heated. And I told him that this is unacceptable, they have to get out of there.
So when and what do you wanna do?
I would hope to get a rehab agreement passed as soon as possible. I would like to get that passed through the city council as soon as possible.
Is this something we can do tonight, or do we need to plan it out next week? End of this week?
Say next week would give us plenty of time, 'cause we've got a lot going on tonight.
Okay. Next Monday?
Next month, yeah, yes, sir.
Immediately following the planning and zoning.
But even
Everybody
during the rehab
next
agreement,
Monday.
there's still not supposed to be people living in it, right?
Yes, ma'am. They lose the certificate of occupancy.
Yeah.
That, they're basically entering in an agreement that is like a residential building permit. We're saying, hey, this is so bad that you're starting from ground zero. And at the end of it, once everything is done up to the ICC's residential code, building code that we've adopted, that we will move forward and give them this certificate back. But right now, it is probably one of the worst housing estates.
I'll recommend we have a meeting next Monday after planning and zoning.
You have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to have special meeting, May the 5th, following planning and zoning. Roll call.
Pam Scarver,
Yes.
Brenda Blaylock,
Yes.
Steve Williamson,
Yes.
John Heflin,
Yes.
Karen Brothers,
Yes.
John Schaefer.
Yes.
Make it.
I just gotta remember it.
Moving
Oh,
on to
citizen
code
note.
enforcement, I've just really been focusing on studying our codes, our ordinances that we have in Foxborough, they're all a little different. But I want to take a proactive, not a reactive approach to the code enforcement department. So that I'm knocking on people's doors and I'm educating our citizens, ensuring that the sanitation, health and safety of our citizens are in good standing. I just really want to focus on that proactive approach and not wait for citizens to come in with their complaints, because at that point, we're due. So I want to get ahead of the curve there. My main focus for all the departments that I've taken over is implementing policy, procedures, and structure to it through systems, because I think that's where we're lacking, is not having the right software to where if the mayor gets a call from somebody, he can click a button and know exactly what I've done day one to if it's 60 days into.
It's also educating the public.
For permitting and building side, I have issued one plumbing permit. I have also revoked one plumbing permit. Pine Ridge Road. They had a major leak for a while, so I had a concern that that could contaminate our water system, so I revoked that permit and required that they get a master plumber to do the work, because they let that leak
word at the high school if anybody wanted to volunteer to get volunteer hours, and we didn't get anybody, so I'm working with the Boy Scout group right now that we're gonna schedule something later in the summer, so that's it for right now.
Old business, she already discussed that. New business, deleting the police department's 2019 Dodge Charger, that was traded in for the Durango. I'll entertain a motion to delete.
Make a motion.
Got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to delete the 2019 Dodge Charger from the police department's fixed assets.
Pam Shriver,
Yes.
Randall Blaylock,
Yes.
Steve Williamson,
Yes.
John Heflin,
Yes.
Karen Carruthers. Yes. John Schaefer.
Yes.
Just a couple other things I want to touch on real quick. The cleanup we had this weekend went really well. The one we had in the fall, we think we had 5 dumpsters. This time we had 7 full dumpsters. I think we had a real good turnout on it. There's a couple of families I would like y'all to keep in your thoughts and prayers. I don't know, how many of y'all remember Jerry Tetzworth that used to work at the park? He passed away earlier in the week, so keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. Chris Young used to be on the planning and zoning. He passed away Saturday morning. So keep their families in your thoughts and prayers. So greatly appreciate it. May meeting, it falls on Memorial Day. Y'all wanna move it to that Tuesday? Is that good for everybody? I think it'd be the 22nd.
Okay.
Yes, May 22nd. So is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, and we can turn it over to the judge and let him do his meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion to second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Judge Cross, floor is yours. You want up here?
Oh, no, I'll stand over here with John, how about that?
You're more than welcome to come on up here.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for letting us impose on you this evening and just get out here and answer any questions you may have about what's going on in county government. I'll echo the mayor, we've had the county cleanup going all this week. So if you missed the possible one,
I was gonna mention that.
we're still going every day, 7 to 4, Monday through Thursday. On Thursday, it'll be 7 to 7. So that's located at the county complex across from Walmart, and we'll take just about anything except construction materials, and we can't take latex paint because you can dispose of that in your regular household garbage. But we take oil-based, chemicals, oil, refrigerators, freezers, you name it, we'll take all that. Old couches, you name it. So that's still available throughout this week through Thursday. It's interesting, I usually go around and hit different city councils throughout the year, and the problems are the same all over, from roads to you name it. It's all an issue that every government deals with. What we're here tonight to talk about is the proposed 3/4 of a penny, 3/4% sales tax to fund the construction, maintenance, and operation of a new jail 911 center. And I'm gonna give you a little history, then I'll let the sheriff get into the what for about the law enforcement side of it. But essentially, it's been 31 years since county government, Polk County government, has came to the voters and asked for anything. And when they asked 31 years ago, it was for a 1-cent county tax, and it was with the understanding that it would all be divided up proportionally to the 6 incorporated cities, and the county would get what's left. And so, whether you're aware of that or not, that's the way it's been for the last 31 years. So while every city in Polk County has their own respective sales tax, for which they receive 100% of those proceeds, they also get more than half of the county's tax. So 1-cent county tax, by the time it's divvied up to our 6 cities, we, the county, are left with 40% of it, 41/100th of a penny. That's what we've been operating on. Now, since 31 years ago, when that went into effect, you've had 3 census. You had the 2000 census, the 2010, and 2020. Each census, this county lost a little less of that penny. And so
understand is Arkansas was dead last, 50 out of 50 in the 2020 census. We were the worst participation state in the nation. In Polk County, we had a 75% participation rate, which means a quarter of the population did not send in the census. So our numbers are vastly skewed. So when you pull up Polk County 2020 census, you're probably going to find some number about 64,000 something. But when you take into account the U.S. Postal Service delivered to where we know there are heads on beds tonight, we're missing about 20,000 people. So we realistically are running between 82 and 85,000 resident population in Polk County. So that's what the population we're all serving. The thing about a sales tax, another one was, did you know, approximately 45 to 48% of the sales tax collected in Polk County, Arkansas, comes from out of the county sources. So right off the bat, about half the sales tax is being derived from the 600 something ball teams that came in last year and played, the bass tournaments, all that kind of stuff. But so that's a good thing. So now I want to jump over to millage, the biggest hated word in the state, millage. Did you know that Polk County operates on one mill in County General? Every county that surrounds us operates at 5. You go to Yell County, Conway County, Johnson County, their county general millage is at 5 right now today. So right off the bat, that property tax, that's what millage is property tax, that millage is 4 times greater in every county that touches us. So for the last 31 years, we've been operating off 1 mill of general property tax, personal and real, and that less than a half a penny. So we've operated frugally all through that time to get to the point to where there is no more to give, because our population has more than doubled since the jail was built, has more than doubled since the 911 center was constructed, and we're still operating on less than a half a penny and 1 mill of property tax. Not to be confused in any shape, form, or fashion with school millage. And school millage is a whole nother thing. We don't control it. County government doesn't touch it. We have nothing to do with it other than it comes in and it goes back out as a part of county government's tax collection and distribution. If you want to know anything about taxes in Polk County, it's all black and white. Go to polkcountyar.gov, click on the tax collectors tab. You can see where every penny of tax dollars go. If you want to break it down into, we paid so-and-so $19 to go do this, that's on there under the county clerk's tab. Click on county clerk, go to expenditures. It's all public record. It's all there. So that's the history of where our taxes are right now. Your county tax doesn't go to the county. Your millage is the lowest in the whole River Valley. And if this were to pass, I'm not making any promises because this is a quorum court job, I foresee in the next 24 months your millage could be reduced to 0. Your county general millage. Not to be confused with school millage. Let me give you an example. I'm an open book, so there's my taxes, personal and real estate. Notice they say paid. Paid. I'm in the Dover School District and don't have any kids or grandkids there. My grandkids go to Pottsville. And so this is personal property. I'm paying Dover Schools $428.27. On real estate, I'm paying them $2,095.64. So I'm paying $2,500 a year to the Dover School District. That's school millage. Now let's talk about what is old Ben given to the county to run the jail and 911. Well, county general, $9.84. That's for a year. On my real estate side, $48.18. So I'm donating to the cause less than $60 a year. That's my contribution, and I don't live in a big mansion, but I don't live in a little house either. I mean, I'm right there, middle income, middle average of everything. So my contribution to the county. So when I talk about doing away with the county's millage, that's what I'm talking about. So I don't want anybody to be confused about the school millage part of it. 90 cents of every tax dollar collected in Polk County goes to a respective school district, which is voted on by the people of that district. We don't control that. They don't control that. So that's, when we're talking about general millage, that's where we're at. And I can see that, going to 0. Again, doubled since the 911 center was built 31 years ago. When 911 was constructed in 1994, they constructed in 93, opened May 1st, 1994 is when they went into operation. They started taking calls. They were taking about 38,000 calls a year. 1995 was that first year. We took nearly 200,000 calls last year out of the same center. There's physically not, it's underground. It's not like we can knock out a wall and add on to it. So it's physically not able to hire another dispatcher, another telecommunicator, and put in a position. There's no more room. And it's a 31-year-old facility. It's just in need of a major overhaul, and that's why it made more sense to combine this with a new jail. The jail is a entity of its own. Like I said, it was added on to a quarter of a century ago. And you say, why can't we just add on more? We're putting, as the sheriff said, we're putting more money towards bad if we did that, because the core of the original jail that was designed to house about 50 inmates, it's just falling apart. The slab's cracking, the pipes are rotted, it's just imploding on itself. The part they put around it a quarter of a century ago, it's starting to have its own issues. And the issue is not about the building so much as it is the problem. What's the problem? The problem is we've got about 82,000 people, and if you just consider 99.5% of everybody in Polk County is a good law-abiding citizen, and we only need the ability to lock up half of 1%. That's 410-bed jail. We need a 410-bed jail today to accommodate that need if we only need to lock up half of 1%. Here's where the rubber meets the road. It's no secret, we just hold felons. We can't adjudicate misdemeanor justice. So we started this year, we being Polk County, Russell PD, Pottsville PD, Athens PD, Hector, all the places together, had 10,901 active misdemeanor warrants. 11,000 outstanding warrants, of which Pottsville had 2,247 of them. I'm talking just Pottsville, if Pottsville just had the ability to adjudicate 2,247 warrants, that is $2.815 million that is owed in fines and restitution. That's victims of crime, that's people who had their mini stores broken into, that's all these misdemeanor crimes that we have no way to hold any mechanism of accountability to those people, because we're holding the bottom people right now. We're holding the worst of the worst. You can go through the sheriff's app and see the daily intakes of who's coming in, who's going out. I'm sure the chief would concur that, if somebody went down here to Dollar General, shoplifted, brought in before Judge Luker, the prosecutor, Mr. Phillips, prosecutes him. Judge Luker says 30 days in jail. Are they going to serve 30 days? No, they're not going to serve 30 minutes. It's a piece of paper adjudicating it, but there is no consequence for the action, because 10,901 warrants are sitting out there. Last year, it was the same number, 11,000. This is just a revolving problem, because what happens is these people, even on a traffic ticket, you run a stop sign, get a stop sign violation, you fail to come to court, you get a fail to appear, and then the fail to appear never gets served, so you get a failure to comply, and that process just keeps going, the fines keep escalating, and when you finally get that person before a judge, there is still no mechanism of accountability in Polk County, Arkansas, because there is no room in the inn. So think about that. 10,901 warrants total owe victims and restitution in the amount of $20,734,443.39. So nearly $21 million is owed by those people with no accountability. I like to discern or dispel some of the things I've heard. I'll start with the big one. Casino could have paid for this. If the casino was here, the casino could have paid for it. Well, the casino was going to be a windfall for the city of Russellville because of the tax structure of Amendment 100. They were going to get 19.5% of the taxes. The county was only going to get 8%. 8% of the taxes, based on all their projected revenues, was going to be about $1.5 million in new revenue a year. And that's it. And that's based on what Oak Lawn's producing. Why does this have to be a permanent tax? We talked about population. We're serving a current population around 82,000. We know if we stay on the same projected path as we have been, Polk County has never lost population. We've always increased by increments of 6%, 9% growth, growth, growth. If we stay on that growth pattern without anything extra, just the current growth pattern, Polk County will have 110,000 people in the year 2045. 20 years from now, we'll be all having to serve a population of about 110,000. So that's why you can't build a 400-bed jail, which is what we're trying to do, a new 911 center, and not have funding to perpetuate it. Because that 400, guess what? It's going to become a 600 and an 800 as time progresses. And the design of new jails versus a 45-year-old jail is they're designed to add pods on, and you can add 200 and add 200 more. Because we never want to become what Conway's becoming. They've had, what, 2 or 3 shootings in the last 10 days. And you can have the nicest parks and recs and everything you want, but if people are afraid to go to them, we have no quality of life. And that's what I've kind of been telling people, that we want people to come here, we want them to spend their money, then leave maybe. Remember, they're paying half of it up front. But we want that to happen. So, that's kind of where we're at. And, you know, this is not something that just came up. The quorum court, I was on the quorum court for 6 years before this judge thing, so I've been hearing it for 15 years now. And the sheriff came in 2015. Yeah, so he's been there a decade. First year in office. Folks, this is a train wreck. It's coming. The quorum court, this is something that has been brought up through them. And Justice Motley, you've been on there how many years now? Second term. So, I mean, this is no big secret. This has been coming. This is a thing, and we can either head it off now. If this doesn't pass, there's only 2 ways county governments in Arkansas get money. Property tax, sales tax. We never want to raise your property tax. My goal is to reduce it to 0. I think Justice Motley's goal is to reduce it to 0. So, we see a future that's promising, but that's the only 2 ways. There's no such thing as a federal grant to build a jail. There's no such thing, there's not even a federal grant to build a 911 center. So this is Polk County taking
some of those were revolving doors. I tell people all the time, me and Rowdy, we have meetings, and the chief back there, we have meetings on who we can get out after a weekend. Because we let, you know, I tell people all the time that we lock up people we're scared of now, not the people that we're mad at. And right now, we're just holding basically felons and violent misdemeanors, if we can hold them for any length of time. Now, while I'm talking about a violent misdemeanor, y'all might know this, I'm sorry, got my back turned to y'all, I apologize.
we don't have local news anymore. You really just don't know what's going on in any given time frame because there is no such thing as local news. And that's why I asked Josh to compile those stats on the back. Those are just what I call the most heinous of things going on in our county in 1 year. So it's as he says, we're not in Mayberry. Touch on a few things. You know, you ask, well, what have you been doing with our tax money? Well, if you've been through the tech curves, you see a new central EMS facility. We'll probably be moving in there in July, sometime in July. That's a $8.5–9 million by the time we get beds and sheets and pillowcases on there. That'll be about a $9 million facility, all done out of ARP money. I mean, ARP money is all of our tax money. Let's don't be kidded there. But that's money that didn't come out of local coffers. That was the ARP money. Secondary to that, we built a new public works facility that's out at Gunlog, back out in the county, and that's about a $5 million project. Again, no out-of-county funds expended on that. So those are 2 capital projects. Prior to that, out of our own money, this was county money, your money, we built the county's first ever coroners facility. You may not be aware, and this is a sad fact in my opinion, but we, up until 2021, if you died in Polk County, Arkansas, you went to the county road department. And that was kind of, to me, a disgrace. We have 2 nuclear plants, but if you die, your loved ones were being housed out by the road grader and the dump truck in a cooler. And that was an embarrassment to me, and that was the first thing I worked on trying to get. So today we have a dedicated permanent coroners facility that is state of the art, and that was all done with local tax money, no added expense there. So 31 years since we came asking for anything, we've completed all these capital projects just in the last 6 years, and we hope we've educated you. So I want to answer any questions you might have.
Judge, explain to them about the bond.
Bond, okay. Yeah, let's talk about what's going to be on your ballot. So on your ballot, if you're in the county, you're going to have for or against 3/4 cent tax, for or against the issuance of bonds. The bonds are the mechanism by which cities and counties can, they have a third party sell the bonds out, so it takes the risk away from the government, our government, and puts the risk on investors. That money gets fronted to the county so we can go ahead and commence construction. And then this tax gets pledged to the retirement of those bonds. Once those bonds are retired, probably take 8 or 9 years, then the residual money will then go into the maintenance and operation in perpetuity. And that's the dedicated source for it. So you're going to be asked 2 things. For or against 3/4 of a penny, for or against the issuance of the bonds. The bonds are necessary to start construction, so you don't have to gather that tax for a decade before you start. You know, talking about jails. Miller County just bid one out, came in $850 a square foot. Stone County bid one out, came in about $800 a square foot. People that are in the jail business, it's running $750 to $850 a square foot because it's hardened concrete structure, and you can't keep people. You'd be amazed, people that spend 24 hours in a cell, they try to tear stuff up. And that's another thing we've done with no added money. We've already secured the property for this. 26 acres across from the old Taylor's General Store on Old 124. The reason it's a good piece of property is because it already has 12-inch water and sewer right there. And you can't lock 400 people up and not flush the toilet either. So it's got 12-inch water, 12-inch sewer, 3-phase power, gas, all to that property. And the most critical thing is we have to have 24-hour fire protection. We can't move this down in the Atkins Bottoms because you have to have 24-hour fire protection, and that's only afforded by the city of Russellville. So that's why it's right north of exit 83. We've already cleared the land, so that land is secured and sitting there if this were to pass. So, questions? Yes, sir.
How is this gonna benefit the city of Marshall and how they grow? There's all this stuff in Campbell and Russellville, nothing ever comes possible.
Well, Russellville is the core economic driver of Polk County. And Russellville's our biggest customer. When you take a jail intake over a year's time, about half the people put in the jail, half the people dispatched by 911 is city of Russellville activity. And Russellville then has to pay back a percentage of the dispatch cost. And then another thing people don't really understand is once somebody's charged with a felony, they become get 41/100ths of the county tax, and we only get 1 mil of property tax. So 1 mil of property tax, again, here's my tax receipts for anybody to see. It just
What's
does,
the total one bill, Judge? What's the total?
$1.4 million is what a mill
So
produces.
shouldn't we ask the cities that we're obtaining the prisoners farm to fund this jail?
They do,
In fact,
they do, Pottsville gets charged, if you bring somebody to jail, well, it's been a long time, but $42 a day. Pottsville gets charged $42 a day. The county, they take, yes, there is a place, and the only problem is, that is if they bring in a misdemeanor that gets sentenced by the courts or whatever. We do $42 a day, is what the cities pay. The problem is, it costs me $61 a day to house an inmate. The state only pays me $40 a day. We just got that bumped up. I sat down at the governor's mansion with Governor Hutchinson when he was governor. Me and about 6 other sheriffs. We had a meeting at the governor's mansion. It used to be $28. Governor Hutchinson moved it up to $40. We're still behind the 8 ball from the state. So, you know, that they do get charged that, but I can tell you right now, and we've already talked about this with the mayors and stuff like that. This tax is gonna be dedicated only to the jail and 911 center, to the sheriff's office, jail and 911 center. So if that tax goes through, there's gonna be a dedicated revenue there, so the city won't have to pay that $41 a day. Because we got our own tax revenue coming in. So hopefully none of the municipalities in the county would have to pay that. And that's
the
what.
city of Athens, we can't pay anything to fill that jail.
Yeah.
We don't have the funds. We're trying to fix streets and water and sewer. We wouldn't have the money.
You asked about tax. Last year, the 1 cent county tax brought in to the county $15,308,589.99. So 15.3 million. It's costing 11 right now just to operate status quo of what we have. And I've got the sales tax going all the way back to 2015.
That's with the maintenance priorities. Just medical alone costs us about $34,000 a month. Just medical alone.
Pam?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't we pay separate in for the 911 center also,
Dispatcher cost.
for dispatch
Yeah.
costs? Okay.
Yeah, every city in Polk County pays a prorated portion of the dispatcher cost. But this is brick and mortar we're talking about here.
Is this an extension of a tax we already have, or is this?
No, this is a new tax, and this has nothing to do with the city of Russellville's tax. That's a whole separate deal,
So
so,
the blue signs that I see around town that says.
have nothing to do with
Nothing
this.
to do with this.
No.
Nothing.
And tell me about the bond. If I understood you, what the construction cost is underwritten by the investors.
Right.
The bond. And there's an interest rate on that.
Yes.
That we would pay. So actually, like anything, with the mortgage on the house, you pay more. But did you say this amount of construction cost would be paid in 8 to 9 years?
Yes, based on this sales tax income that we know,
The projected cost that this,
So-
if passed, would generate.
right, 3/4% produces about 12 million annually, is what 3/4%. And so, $87 million facility, it's gonna take 8 or 9 years to pay for it. And
And then after that, obviously, maintenance and then.
Operation.
More population and cost of living, going up would meet that.
Yes.
And then any future construction that, if it was needed.
I mean, let's be honest, if 31 years ago, the 1 cent would've went to the county for the last 31 years, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. But the cities need it, the county needs it, and the county is extended as far as it can go, and after 31 years, we're coming asking for 3/4%, so.
So if it doesn't pass, what's gonna happen to it?
You'll see the next sheriff and the next county judge doing this same thing in a couple of years.
So that makes it's gonna be sitting there?
Because there's only 2 ways. Property tax, which, remember, 1 mil, 1.4 million in real cash. So you go to 5 mills, say the quorum court maxes out the millage in Polk County, and you go to 5, that still does not produce the revenue needed for a construction project. So, much less to operate it, and that varies year to year. So we're operating at 1 mil, which is 1.4 million in cash, 9 cents more to eat a brick oven pizza day before yesterday. So,
Still not out going around.
yeah. Here's another quick thing, talking about receipts, I don't know if I got it. I went to Sam's, and y'all go to Sam's in Conway? I think everybody goes to Sam's in Conway, so we don't have one. You know what I walked out of there with the other day? Got my receipt, 'cause I'm looking now, and, 13.125. So, if this passes, and if the city's passes, it will put us at 9.75, which is same as Gardner. It's still less than Clarksville. Clarksville's, if I went to Casper's the other night, Lake State, it's 10.5% on that meal. But, yeah, I walked out of Sam's the other day, when I looked at the tax rate, 3 separate taxes on there, and it was 13.125 to walk out of Sam's. So this keeps us in the lowest 1/3 of the state. Matter of fact, I've got every tax rate of every city in Arkansas here, and every county's millage in the state of Arkansas. So I like people to fact check me, so I can just go and show you, right here it is. But this keeps us in the lower 1/3 of the entire state. You look at towns like Sherwood, they're 12 and 13%. So this keeps us still under 10, and that's assuming the city of Russell's does pass. That will, like I said, it will be 9.75.
And sir, also to answer your earlier question, to kind of fill in, there's other things that the county, facilities that the judge could probably explain that the county is over. Not only just the sheriff's, that we provide the sheriff's office.
Hots in.
Hots in, you know, you've got
selling it on Facebook.
Any other thing? I appreciate your time tonight. I know we probably kept you later than normal, but if, like I said, my phone's always on. You wanna go look at the jail, you wanna go look at it, you wanna see, like I said, everything we do is on our Polk County AR.gov website. Every expenditure, every money in, every money out, it's there. So there's nothing to hide. Contrary to the post I saw today, that EMS building in North Arkansas is not $1 million over budget. You might wanna know this. So we sold the current road department and we sold the current ambulance service to Citicorp. They've already bought it and paid us. They paid us $2.4 million.
Are you talking about the physical?
The buildings.
Physical plant?
And so Citicorp is gonna move into that property when we leave it. And now, why is that good? Because that $2.4 million went back into this capital infrastructure. We put it right back into brick and mortar, went right back to these facilities to finish them out. And when it's all said and done, we'll still have about $1.5 million left out of the sale of that property. Why is that good? Because my great uncle, when he was county judge, Bus Rye, he bought that property in 1979, 14 acres for $90,000.
And it was in the county.
And it was way out in the county, the city limits, because I've been here all my life. And the city limits used to be where the old South burned down, then Walmart came to town, and they had to move the city limits over to the other side of the parking lot, so it would be in the city limits. Then it jumped on out past what, Brown's Catfish used to be Sirloin Stockade, Brangus used to be Bonanza, there was no PDQs, so Weir Road was a 2-lane county road when all this land was purchased for $90,000. So 14 acres for $90,000. Fast forward till, I sold it, 2 years ago? And so, fast forward to 23, we got $2.4 million back. That's pretty good ROI, and that's just for those 2 plots. So we do have people, you wouldn't think a used jail have a lot of market, but we do have